What if you're looking for some passion in your job? Let me give you two ways to think. One is accepting opportunities. So when somebody gives you an opportunity, you don't know where that's going to take you. I like the expression that opportunities unveil a piece of the puzzle of who we are. So you do something and that can lead to something. When I was in the Army Nurse Corps at one time, I was asked to give a presentation, a hospital-wide presentation on cardiology. Now, it's not something I ever would have volunteered to do, but in the Army, you do it if you're told to do it. And what I found is how much I loved putting that presentation together, doing the research, presenting it. And so many people said to me, have you ever considered teaching? I had not considered teaching at that point. But you see, that opportunity gave me a little piece, unveiled a piece of the puzzle of who I was. When I eventually went for my master's, I took a minor in education and went in the field of education. I had planned to be a clinical nurse practitioner in cardiology and made a switch. Now, you can give other people opportunities. I remember working one time at the hospital and I had this nurse's aide who was phenomenal. She did her job like she knew why she was doing things. When she was restocking a cart, she wasn't just throwing stuff in there, just placing everything in there because she knew they were there for a reason. And I said to her one day, I said, Nancy, you know, you are the best nurse's aide I have ever worked with. I think that you should be a nurse. Have you ever considered being a registered nurse? And she said no. Now, she was a nurse's aide and her husband was an orderly and they had one child. No one ever gave her the idea of thinking of herself in another way. 4 months later, she enrolled in our BSN program, and 4 years later, got her Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. That she had an opportunity, but just your words can really be powerful. Now today, her husband's still an orderly. She has a phenomenal job as a nurse. They travel all around the world because she took that opportunity with somebody saying something. And here's another thing, positioning. Here's where you say what you want in your career. Like, I think we should always be positioning for the next position. I like the expression position today for the position you want tomorrow. So what is it that you want? How can you be proactive? When I went to the University of Penn, I always say this was probably the best thing about the University of Penn for me in my master's program, when I would meet with the faculty and I'd look around the room and I'd see all book covers that they had framed. And I thought, oh, I would love to be an author someday. And I thought, you know, these people are regular people just like me. You know, if they can do it, maybe I can do it. So what do I need to do to be a writer? And I started writing for the graduate newsletter. I started doing things, reading books on writing, and eventually I had my opportunity and I was ready. I'd positioned myself for that. So just think of where you want to go in your career and how proactively you can get there. And another example I have of positioning is from a patient. I always say one of the toughest parts of my job was being a nurse educator. Probably describe that as the toughest job you'll ever love, working with students. And one funny thing about students is they think anybody over 40 is old, anybody over 50 ancient, anybody over 60 why bother, 70 what are they doing here in the hospital, they should be dead. So that's the idea of students, truly. And so one time when I came in to make my assignments for the next day, the nurses said to me, she said, Kathy, you know, we just admitted a woman who's 100. And she's having a total hip replacement. And I thought, oh, good. So I went in to meet the lady to see if we could work with her the next day. And I said, by the way, can you tell me why at 100 would you have a total hip replacement? And she said, I'm having trouble getting on and off of my motorcycle. She was 100. Every day swung that hip up over the cycle. Went and visited her younger sisters, 99 and 97. She was positioning herself by having surgery so she could keep doing that. So you position yourself for what you want.